Hey everyone, welcome to the CSI Secret Store community call. Today is the October 5th, 2023. This call falls under the CNC Code of Conduct. It's recorded and will be published to YouTube. Please add your name to the attendee list if you already haven't. I can help moderate the call. Does anyone want to volunteer with the notes? Okay. I can help take notes, it's fine.
I can, but I have to run after 30 minutes.
Sorry, I can't hear what you said.
I said for the first half, I could take notes, but I have to run after 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have 4 discussion items, and I also see some in the, sorry, Nilek mentioned we can take notes too. I didn't see the chat. I think, Andrea, you wanted to go first because you had some questions with Secret Sync, and I think like the other folks who added to the agenda are fine with it. So you're first then.
Yeah, so I noticed that we decided to move the secret object field, which was synchronizing the secrets as Kubernetes secrets from the secret provider class into the secret sync class.
Yeah.
And I guess one question I had on that was, will we support multiple versions of the same secret? So in this case, will we add also the version field that we have for the secrets right now in the secret provider class? Or like what's the thinking that we have about this?
Wait, which version? Like the Kubernetes secrets don't have any version in the secret provider class.
We have a version history, if I recall correctly. Let me try to find an example of the secret provider class.
Yeah, the secret provider class version history is Azure specific, right? Like that comes under the parameters. Like that doesn't fall inside secret object.
So for the sync controller, basically we won't have the same behavior as we do now for the secret provider class.
No, so in the secret provider class, the secret objects field is nothing provider specific. Like it's basically a key and an object name. And that's the same across any provider. So basically, when we split it out and put it into this new CRD, it's exactly the same. Like the object name is basically saying like what the name is that is fetched as part of the RPC response. And the key is what is the key in the secret object. But these are the only 2 things that's supported today, even in secret provider class for secret objects.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, like if you look at it even today, like this is what it says, right? Like secret objects, basically the type of the Kubernetes secret, the secret name is what it needs to be synced as. And then the key is what is the key in the Kubernetes secret. And the object name here says in the RPC response that you get from the provider, like I want that object to be in this particular key. And that is it.
So the flow would be if I have multiple versions of the object in the cloud, the flow would be I would configure that in my secret provider class, and here I would just say the name of the secret that I would want. So I would still need to configure things in the secret provider class.
So even if you have multiple versions, the thing is the name that you put is totally different, right? Like I think you're taking one specific example from the Azure provider, but even if you don't take that, right? If you have multiple versions of the secret, like you would sync that with different names. Like you would say secret V1, secret V2, secret V3. So you would have like different entries because each provider expects like a 1:1 mapping. So it's object name and then the object type, and then object version, right? So you would have type secret, secret1 v1, type secret, secret1 v2, and then you would have like some kind of alias or something, right? Because you can't have the same thing. And then when you configure here, like you would say key v1, and then the object name is secret1 v1, and then key v2, object name secret2 v2. Like it's all, every version of the same secret is considered as a distinct object.
Okay. So as a user, basically, I would define my secrets in the cloud and all the versions that I want. I would have to create the secret provider class like I do today. And then I would have to create the secret sync part with the secrets. I'm just a bit worried that I might misconfigure one or the other.
You mean the secret object and the object array in the secret provider class?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Like, I mean, in terms of the experience, it has to be exactly the same as it is today, right? I think it's just the location where it's configured is different. Like, even today, they have to configure the secret objects and the objects, but it's just that it's all in one YAML, but now it's in two different YAMLs.
Yeah. So as long as I can't make like huge mistakes between one YAML to the other, I guess I am okay. I was under the impression that the secret name under the secret object should match the object name under the array of objects that I provide as parameters for the secret provider class.
You mean this secret name?
Yeah.
Yeah, this secret name is a singular value. It's just the name of the Kubernetes secret.
And it needs to match what I provide in the parameters for my secret provider class, correct?
No, that is the object name.
The object, okay.
Yeah, so this object name is the name of the secret that you store in like external vault. Secret name is basically the name of the Kubernetes secret you want to sync as, and secret type is basically the type of the Kubernetes secret that you want to sync as.
Yeah, so okay, it makes sense because in the end, in the secret provider class, I will just leave the functionality that I have, and everything that I'm getting from there is from my connection with the cloud, and in the secret sync is what I want to have on the cluster level.
Right.
Thanks.
I think you also said you had another question, or was this the only one?
No, this was the only one.
No. Okay, so that was the secret sync class. And then I think there are two other ones that were initially there, distroless images. I don't know who added it.
Actually, I added that distroless, and first one and second one. Hi, I am Abhijit. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the call.
Yeah. So the first one, it's kind of a recommendation that if possible, we should use the distroless images for any kind of container. There are two main reasons for adding distroless images. So before that, what is distroless images? So distroless images means it has just your application and runtime dependency, nothing else in your base image. So the two advantages here is one is the size of your base image will be less. So size is one advantage, and second will be vulnerabilities. Lesser the dependencies, lesser the vulnerabilities we have to fix. So these are the two options. So these are the two benefits. So I was kind of like trying if it is possible to use the distroless image instead of using the current Debian base image. But yeah, there I found one problem. Maybe if can you open the repository, a Docker file? Thanks. So here the line number 33 that is causing issue. So
right, that's the reason we don't have distroless, because we need the mount capability today.
Yeah, so there are some alternatives, but which I thought which can be not the standard way. It's like we can copy the required binaries from other images to our images, but again, then it won't be the pure redistroless image. So yeah, any kind of opinion or inputs will be helpful here.
Yeah, so I've actually done a POC before. So
Okay.
there is a image called distroless IP tables, which basically builds on top of distroless images and then takes only like the required capabilities and adds it on top of that image, right? So similar to that, I actually did a POC where I took a distroless image and then only added like the mount packages that's required, and I was able to get that working. But the only thing is, if we go down that route, we have to have that base image published. So if we can do that, and then if we can also see if that base image is useful for other projects that use mount, I think then we can basically do something that will benefit like the wider ecosystem. But this was the image that I was talking about. So there is a distroless IP tables. Yeah, so this is basically like it takes only distroless, adds like IP tables, packages, and then that works. And similar to that, I was able to get the distroless mount work.
Okay. And the what problem you faced after that?
So there's no problem. Like the thing is that base image that I built is just in my registry, right? I think if we want to use it
Yeah.
in the Kubernetes repo, like for driver and like for other projects, we would basically have to like propose this to like the team that owns these base images and then see if there's consensus on like doing something like this. Then if there is, then we can basically set up like pipelines and all of that to start publishing that base image. And then we can you consume that in the driver project.
Okay, sure.
More.
Yeah.
What prevents? Maybe I'm misassuming something. We publish images for the driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we not publish? What prevents us from using the same mechanism to start publishing our distroless mount? And by the way, I fully agree with the plan of actually putting it in the regular registry and making other people be able to use it. That's not the issue. I was just mostly asking if something blocks us from taking the half step.
It does not. So like I think we would basically publish that image in our storage bucket that we have for CSI Secret Store. And it's just we would publish two images like at some kind of cadence and then like consume it. Like the distroless base image needs to be published first, then we consume it and then build the Docker image. But we can start off there. Like only thing is if there are any problems and all that comes, like we have to take care of it because we are the only ones building it and consuming it.
Yeah. So yeah, so I certainly think we should pursue the general registry approach with mostly because I suspect there's other places in CSI that could use the same base image and have value from it. But yeah, if we have to fall back, that's also fine. But yeah, I don't know if we want to own yet another image. Like we're already saying we're going to own a driver and a controller image. I don't know if I want to own a third image that now I'm responsible for patching.
Yeah. The last time I talked to Jeremy about it, like for SIG release, like there was some interest. So maybe we can like rekindle that thread and see if there's more broader interest and then like get it moving.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks,
Sorry,
Anish. Yeah. And the second one for the Go version. So we are currently using Go 1.19, right? And in our internal scan, we found that there are many vulnerabilities which are which are present in 1.19 and which can be resolved by upgrading the Go 1.21. Has anyone tried that, or how should we?
So we actually use
It's one.
120.
Yeah. So there are many vulnerabilities which are for fixes which are available in 1.21.
Yeah. So if you want, you can basically open an issue which shows some of the CVEs that you got from your scan. And then if you want to open a PR to update the Go version, you can do that. And then if we can let the CI run and also like do a code review.
Sure.
Yeah. And then if you have any questions while trying to contribute, like you can feel free to reach out on Slack to any of us and then we can help you out.
Yeah, sure. I will try that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. And then the last one was impact to secret sync feature after driver split.
Yes, so hi, I'm Naman from GCP Secret Manager, and there was a question regarding the PRD that was presented in the last meeting. That was regarding the driver split and the first proposal which was presented. So actually, we wanted to know like what is going to be the status of the existing secret sync feature on the driver. And if you are planning to like split that functionality out of the driver or build it independently as a separate controller, or like are we actually like deprecating that or not? So this was the question that I want to ask.
Yeah, so we added some note around it in the design doc as well. But the goal is once the controller is available, like we will basically start talking about how we want to deprecate it at the driver level. The end goal is the driver only does the mount, which it was designed to do. And we will basically remove the sync as a Kubernetes secret feature from it. And then also we will deprecate the fields in secret provider class that no longer make sense, like the secret objects, which was added just for sync as Kubernetes secret. And if you want to sync as Kubernetes secret, then we will just tell you to install this separate controller, which will just run as a deployment and then create the custom resources it needs. And that will talk to the providers, get the secrets, and it'll just sync as Kubernetes secret, and it'll support rotation, and it'll have nothing to do with the mount.
Okay, so like currently we support this as an alpha feature in provider. So like for that particular feature, are we like supposed to point to some other driver or like that other controller that you say, and then that will be like talking to the secret manager and do accordingly?
So the sync as secret feature is basically a driver feature, right? Like it has nothing to do with providers today. Like the provider does not know the specifics of why it's fetching it from an external wart and giving it. So like the call will look exactly the same as the RPC call. And once the secrets come back to the provider, like today, the driver basically does two things. It writes the secrets to the mount, and then it also syncs it as Kubernetes secret. So we are saying we're splitting that into two different projects. Like the driver will just write to mount and be done with it, and it'll run as a daemon said. And then the controller will not do any of the mount stuff. It will just sync as Kubernetes secret and then be done with it. So to answer your question on the provider side, like if you have documentations today on how to sync as Kubernetes secret with the driver, like that needs to definitely be updated, because now you want to show how to install the provider as part of the controller Helm chart. So like we'll add some kind of example for it. But basically in terms of installation, like the controller will have a Helm chart which shows deploying the controller. And then for every provider, there will just be a additional field called like extra containers, right? So you as a provider would document what your container spec would look like to be installed with the controller. And that is it. Like once it gets deployed, the controller knows how to talk to the provider because it's going to run as a sidecar. And then you basically have examples on you will have the same secret provider class, but we are also adding another thing called secret sync class. So you will have examples just showing that. But yeah, there will be like some documentation update on the provider because you no longer have to specify the driver.
Okay, we got it. Thanks.
Yeah. And if there's anything in the doc, like the design doc, that you think we can make clear around it, feel free to tell us, and then we can update it so that other providers can also look at it and know like what's coming up.
Yeah, sure. And one more minor question. So regarding this, after this implementation, like are we supposed to make changes in our provider as well? So like all the basic that you said that there is a sync class as well. We will have to add and we will have to change the documentation. So are there any implementation specific updates or upgrades that we need to do?
So there should be no code changes on the provider. Like, so the goal with this split is we want to reuse existing providers as is without any changes. So the way we are designing it is whatever gRPC call, like whatever request that we send today from the driver to the provider for the CSI stuff, we will basically have the same request being sent to the provider even with the controller. So like from the provider perspective, like the provider won't notice any difference. It'll be the exact same call. It's the exact same thing that it's doing while talking to external vault and all of it.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. I think that is it. Any other topics anyone else wants to discuss? No. So the secret sync proposal we will be discussing in the next SIGAUTH call. So that's next Wednesday at 11 a.m. PST. Okay, I think that is it. Thank you everyone for joining. See you all in 2 weeks.
See you. Bye.